Okay, great. And Monica will go ahead and do the attendance visually. Um, our last meeting, we said that, it wasn't like a mandatory meeting, we would go ahead and talk about things. If we need to vote on something, we can go ahead and vote. Um, we were supposed to have two people coming in on the meeting today. Um, I'm not sure if I don't know how to pronounce the other person's name. Um,
I'm not sure either, to be quite honest with you.
Al, that's why I wanted the person to introduce himself. The other person I can say was Hassana. And
Okay.
Ray has been wanting to have an EO student come on board and everything. And Ray and I actually met with her last week. Oh my goodness. Jane, I thought of you because she's not, unfortunately, she's not able to come tonight's meeting. She already had a previously commitment with the family. I'm like, it's 4th of July week, definitely. So she's going to try to come next month. But I'm not going to go too, I want her to tell everyone what she has done. But in a nutshell, she is, I think she's going to be a senior at EO. She lives in Columbia. She's from Florida.
Yeah.
When what kind of like popped in my head was she said the one story she I forget up to what grade, like maybe middle school or something like that. She was in charter schools. So when she finally went into the public school, they were showing her around the school and they said, "Oh, and this is the library." And she went, "There's libraries in school?" It was just
Wow.
it was, like an aha moment for her. When she came up here, she realized that there was a difference between the students who have gone through the school system through Mansfield, as opposed, and there's Grace, as opposed to kids in like Ashford, Columbia, or whatever. And she did a research project and she was talking about qualitative and quantitative, and I'm like, there's
Right.
Jade, it's going to make her so happy. So I don't want to give any more. I want her to describe it because she was talking about this and I was getting revved up and I was getting excited. I'm like, this is brilliant. And she's to like come to a point where it's kind of like, well, I can't do anything because this person isn't doing this person. I'm like, just hang on to that, and we'll talk with our members. And she really wants to become a member of the HRC. So hopefully next month she'll be able to come on board. Wonderful, wonderful person. She lives with her auntie, like I said, in Colombia. She is of color. So I'm like, I'm being honest. I said it's going to be great because we need, more diversification and everything on the committee. But she is, yes, it was kind of like thinking of Jane and tapping into Grace, and it was just like tapping into everybody. It was awesome to hear her speak.
Great.
Um,
It sounds wonderful.
she for a young person, and she was just so she wants to go into history, and then delving into maybe law and human rights. So she has her plan A and she has her plan B, but she's very elegant with her speaking. It was amazing to speak with her.
Look forward to meeting her.
Okay, so that other person, Monica, I'm assuming hasn't come in on the meeting yet. If they show
Nope,
up,
nobody has come yet. I still don't have Ray or either.
okay.
Best.
All right, so we're just going to continue going on to that. All right, real quick, anyone who was able to go to the Pride, it was a good success. Katie Bell was there. It was fun to see her. She actually was able to enjoy the event for a change and not go crazy with everything else. So it was nice to see that. All right, did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting? Anyone have any comments, recommendations, changes, anything like that? All right, so can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
No
Second.
second. Awesome. All in
Second.
favor? We're all good. All
Aye.
right. All right, and it's approved. Everyone look at the agenda.
Mhm.
Does anyone, and Barb, I responded quickly to your email. Did you get that? Okay. Does anyone need to add anything to that? Does it look okay? All right, so can we have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
So moved.
All right, second,
Second.
Full Beans, Grace, second. All right. On to fun things. All right, ideas for Celebrate Mansfield. I submitted the application and it has been received, so we're on there. We don't have to pay the fee because we're part of the town. The event is September 27th from 2 to 8, but we're not there from 2 to 8. We're there until like maybe 6-ish. We start breaking down. We can set up an hour beforehand. I know it's in September, but does anyone at least kind of like know now if they might be able to either do help set up, help with the middle, or help break down? Does anyone? September 27th?
Is that a Saturday, Janine?
Yes.
Okay. thank you. Yeah, as of now, I may be taking a couple vacation days, but as of now, I would love to be there for the beginning and certainly
Yeah.
help set up.
Same
Okay.
here.
I can
Okay.
too, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm
Alright.
out of the country.
Where are you off to now?
It's a British Isles
Oh,
cruise,
yes.
Viking.
Oh, great. I want to hear about that. I always wanted to do Viking. I just got back from Italy a few days ago.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do a Viking. Yeah.
Well, think of me if you when you're over there, because I want to go back over there.
We just
all right,
came
so-
back from London and Edinburgh. We did not do Viking this time. We did it the other times, but this time we did it by ourselves. I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to poke around off the tourist track for a couple of days. That was pretty cool.
yeah.
That's good.
And we got to see Stonehenge, which was the
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of
Oh,
course.
wow.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All
I was
right,
at
so
Stonehenge in 1967.
Oh my God.
You guys hadn't been born yet, but
Oh, I was.
I was.
I was
It was.
there around the same time, and you could just walk right in, and I
Right,
Yeah,
was
not
right.
anymore.
surprised to
yeah.
show up, and nobody showed up who came from another world. I was very disappointed.
Oh,
Well, Jane, next time that you go there, I'll go behind one of the stones and I'll put an outfit on and I'll jump out of it. I would love to do that to somebody just to see what happens, but you know, that I'll
Barbara,
be
go to Chester.
Okay. Well, I'm on a cruise, so I can't.
I've been on that cruise. Go to Chester.
Okay.
It's wonderful.
Okay.
Grace, are you taking notes? Because we have to plan a trip or something. And now, yes, technically I am an empty nester, so I can go do things. All right, so setup is like 1 o'clock. I'll be there. I have a tent. I'll bring the tent. There are college kids that help you get the stuff out of the car, so I'll have a lot of that stuff. As it gets closer, we can kind of coordinate things a little bit more, but I just wanted to get an idea. Now,
Sure.
we do need to think about some activities, ideas, yada, yada, yada. We need to draw people in, not just have them walk by.
Well, I was one thing that maybe I was just thinking of, because you had asked me to check in with the Mansfield Historical Society about, I think it was for America 250. So as you know, they're still closed for renovation, but I did
Yeah.
sign up to be on their email list, and I did write a comment when I got back from vacation the other day, that what we were looking for, but they do have a lot of information already on the website about Indigenous peoples in Mansfield. And then I told them I appreciated that, and what else we were looking for. So maybe maybe obviously before then I can talk with someone from the Historical Society and see if they have some visuals or something that we can show that might give kind of just a kind of a interesting tidbit about the historical part of Celebrating Mansfield. If you'd like, I can do that.
I'm brainstorming already. Anyone, and I'll share my brainstorms later.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other thoughts? Jane?
Well, I have a thought, but I don't know if it's appropriate. The thing we did that really drew people in was I made a list of the 10 what I considered to be the most important human rights, and I
Yep.
made a list, and then I had everybody vote for which one they wanted. We gave them
Yep.
and we summarized it, and that brought them in. And then you can
I
engage.
think I still have that downstairs in my basement.
Because that did get people stood there and they thought about it. It was
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's a
That was
great
good.
idea.
Yeah,
yeah.
even the all age groups.
Right.
And
That was a
we-
good idea. Yeah.
we can tie in with that. I was thumbing through some ideas, and you have a map of your community, and you label your map what human rights are within that map. So like if you did like the Mansfield Wyndham area at the hospital, being able to go to the hospital, that's a human right. Your grocery store, that's part of a human right. The state troopers, that's a human right. The community center, that's a human right. So if we put on there, what, Jane, your thing of what's the most important human right to you? All right, so can you find that human right maybe
Yeah,
on this map?
that's great. And I think they need to make the connection between what a human right is, the right to have health care with
Right.
physical hospital,
Right.
right to
Right.
be
Right.
safe with the cops, that kind of thing, because
Yeah.
people don't make all those connections. And so I'm even
Right.
thinking like a triptych or a bifold where you have
Yep.
the human rights on one side and the map on the other side, and
Yep.
bring people in to take a look at it would be
So
good.
maybe we can have some people kind of like thinking about brainstorming like within the
Mhm.
group, and how that ties in with Debbie, the historical society, because that's a connection for human rights,
Yeah.
because it gives us information about our community and how we've changed,
Mhm.
how we've evolved a little bit. Um, uh, the other thing that I do with the kids, and even with the adults, it was fun to do with the adults. You have a stack of cards and you ask them, is this a right or is this a responsibility?
Mm.
And it could be, cleaning up your community. Is that a right or a responsibility? And it made them think a little bit, that's just like they could just do like to engage them or whatever. But I like the map of the community and which one is important to you, and then tie that in with the map. Again, drawing them in because they'll just walk by, and then we can't, start putting a little bug in their ear. At the Pride event, it was interesting, and even sometimes when Jane had at the senior center, they'll think of their rights, but sometimes they don't always think of like someone else's right. Like there was a gentleman there last time I went, Jane, where he's like, I feel fine here in Mansfield, but I'm worried about my friend across the table. So getting them to recognize not just rights for themselves, but for other people. Because when you look at another person, you kind of like, oh yeah, maybe that's not a nice thing. There were some more videos that I had watched today, and it was they had a scenario like someone comes in your area and takes your lunch. How do you handle that situation? And they're telling you, if you tell anybody, it's like a little kid, if you tell anybody, I'm gonna hurt you. But then they did it as a grown-up. Someone takes your lunch out of the back refrigerator and they start being nasty about it. How is that handled as an adult and as a child? It was a really interesting concept with that. So that's what got me thinking. We need to draw people in and educate them. It's not just your human rights, but someone else's, and how that affects people. All right, so we're on. Keep thinking of some more ideas, but I'll put on there the list. Was it like 10?
Yeah,
Jane, I'm going to let you come up with that.
I picked 10 and I just went through the whole list and picked the ones that I thought were appropriate and probably would speak most to the people. It could have been any number of different ones.
Okay, and then with a map, we can make up volunteers. It could be even like a cartoonish type of map. It doesn't have to be so direct. It's just to engage someone, you know, here's Price Chopper, here's Big Y, here's, you know, Wyndham Hospital, not Wyndham anymore, what is it? Hartford Healthcare or whatever, all those different things, you know, just labeling that. So if anyone has any thoughts or wants to volunteer something like that, I can help, whatever, but it would be great if someone volunteers.
One of the interesting things about here in Mansfield and just about anywhere else in the United States is you tend to take clean water for granted. You just turn on the taps and there it is. But
Right.
there's a little spring down 195 right on the border between
Yeah.
Mansfield
Yeah, yeah.
and it's every time I drive past there, I think that's an interesting way to give people access to fresh, clean water, especially if you're renting an apartment from a slumlord who hasn't bothered to make sure that your pipes are clean so that you do get clean water. And it's a little known secret here in Mansfield that it's even there.
Yep,
Yeah, a lot of people use it. Yeah, a lot of
yeah, I
people.
see a
do.
lot of people there, especially during this time.
Yeah, I used to use it too when I lived in Willimantic. Yeah.
Put that on the map, you know, and there's
Good
parks and
idea.
recreation. There's the ICUC, the Muslim prayer area, the synagogue, the church, different things. And it's not just religion, it's also for culture, you know, which is a big human right as well, being able to have your own culture. All right, so any volunteers who would like to maybe take on kind of something of a map?
Not my forte.
Neither.
I will partner up with someone.
I think you should partner up with Monica and somebody in town government because they have plenty of maps to work with.
True. That is true.
Just get one and modify it or have them produce it because it would have to be pretty large. You want to put it on a foam board. So maybe they have that kind of technological capacity to make something like that.
All right, so I'll be in contact maybe with Monica when she gets back. That'll be cool. All right, call town. All right, next on the list, website feature July, August. We talked about putting something on our website, you know, hosting awareness for that particular month or whatever. And, you know, June, yes, Jane.
I just had a meeting with a lady at the senior center today who is neurodiverse. That's how she
Yes.
described it. And I found out, or maybe I found it out from Jessica, July is Disability Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And I didn't even
There-
know we had a disability. So I think that
It
ought-
does. There's different ones, because October was also disability awareness. It's also Disability Pride Month this for July.
I think
Mhm.
that theme, however we do it, because I never heard of it before, and I'm sure a lot of other
Yeah.
people haven't either.
All right, so we can and with that, I have here like it'll be a bit of a trial and error, but I think we can do this. You know, talk about if we can put up on their disability awareness, any other type of awareness that can come up, not like a whole bunch, but things that are just going to pop out. Monica, was there a template or something that you had talked about that we might be able to use to like do it and send it to you to help you out? I don't remember.
No, I don't think a template, but if we can do a Word document,
Okay.
I can always convert it to a PDF for anything else that we might need. But that's usually the easiest way for us to import into the system, to my knowledge.
And then that could be put on our on the website.
Yep.
Okay, Jane.
Yeah. Also, I was just thinking, Hebron does this wonderful job with Juneteenth, and they have a big celebration. And this year, they did a witness stone, and the family still lives in Hebron.
Wow.
Wow.
And they had a church service and the family ran the church there. I didn't even know anybody black lived in Hebron, but apparently there's one family and they go all the way back.
Wow.
And
Wow.
can we feature our witness stone on this page? Because here's my question. I've been thinking about this since Pride Month. We go out of our way to celebrate Pride. We have rainbows everywhere.
Hmm.
Can't even sneeze in the direction of Juneteenth. What is that about Mansfield that it's easier to be gay here than it is to be black? I am horrified when I sit and
I've-
think about it.
Yeah,
I'm
that's why I
planning.
kept trying to talk to the
Yeah.
principals or whatever about, what could we do? And it always goes back to not making the connection. So that's why I'm hoping next year. And their thing is like, well, by the time Juneteenth comes around,
It's baloney. Believe me,
we
Yeah.
could do stuff.
baloney.
Yeah, we could do
They
stuff.
don't want to do anything that's going to upset anybody. And you can tell I'm already upset, but I'll postpone that. It's on the agenda. But for this, I think if we could
Yep.
do a picture of the witness stone and then do like a little summary of what that was all about and who those people were and who owned them.
Yes.
And just put it there. If you're going to do a template, just put it there next to the disability stuff because we're trying to get people to be aware of who's here and what rights need to be paid attention to. So that's what I suggest. I suggest that we do a little picture of the witness stone. And I know there were tons of pictures taken at that ceremony. So I'm sure there's
Can you
archived someplace.
write up a little something, Jane?
Well, I'm going to have to go find it, but yeah, I'll find it.
Okay. And maybe Margaret has pictures or something like that she could
Okay.
go, whatever. All right, so for July,
What's the deadline, Janine? When do you need it by?
July. Why is July 21st popping up in my head?
That sounds as good as anything.
Yeah, I'm not back until July, the 16th, I'll be in the office, so if it's going on the website, I can.
Okay, well, we'll say July 16th, and then that'll give you as much time as you can grab.
Okay,
July 21st was the newsletter. That's what. the
Oh,
21st
that was the
in
other
my head.
question I had, because that has been eluding me constantly, but I have to do something for that.
All
Okay.
right, so yeah, as soon as we can, put something in there. And if we can get onto a track where we know things are going to be like, what I would like for our group to do is be able to have something ready for August decided. I want to be like one step ahead so that it can be updated at the correct time, at the correct month.
And I think, excuse me,
No,
I am
right
so
ahead.
horrified about living in the United States right now that I can barely control myself. So I want to share that with you all. Set it aside. Davida, you know how to write. You had to write for a living. Think about what you'd like to write for the next column after the one I do on education. Because I'm trying to think of people's, strength and experience, and I know you can do something. So just think about it.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so Jane, you can help with the website article and
Yeah,
then give okay.
I'll try to
Right.
track down a picture, and once I do that, I can use the text from the posters that we made about what Juneteenth is all about. So we got plenty of stuff. I can do that.
Okay, good. And then the little blurb for July for disability awareness.
That one is going to be a little bit more difficult for me. Because I know about as much as anybody does.
I can come up with something because that's always been my background. Oh, Grace, you raising your hand?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I did Best Buddies at EO Smith. I could write something about that.
Okay.
Just do that rather than disability awareness. First sentence disability. Here's an example, and then write what you know.
Great. And that's been my background for over like 2/3 of my life has been, career-wise in terms of people with impairments. Younger, I've dealt with all blindness, all disabilities from blindness, hard of hearing, developmental delays to schizophrenia. Not that I had that, but
You want to be in charge of this?
pardon?
You want to be in charge?
No, I want Grace to do it, but I'll throw some stuff at you. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have for July, and then August. What
Can
was
I just say
August?
something about the Disability Awareness Month?
Yep.
I don't know how to put this. Is there anything we can do about the fact that the Congress just passed this bill that's going to cut Medicaid for 14 million or whatever it is? I mean, that's certainly going to impact people
The
with
Senate passed.
disabilities.
Yeah, the Senate passed it.
They haven't done it yet completely, but it's on
It's
the.
back in the House and now they're fighting over procedural rules
Yeah,
to see if it survives.
Keep emailing everybody and.
Yeah.
Courtney is ambivalent, so lean on him.
I have, yeah, I did that today, yeah.
Barbara, let's,
We could put something in there in terms of how important it is to be aware of various impairments of all ages, of all races, or whatever, and how it affects not just the person, but it affects the whole community. Because there's caregivers, there's whatever, and if some resources that aren't always available for individuals, we need to make sure that we are aware of resources, our human rights, and whatever. So you're right, we can't come right out and say anything because things are still up in the air, but we can start throwing that thing in there where, we have to be aware of Grace and I will work on it. We'll put it in there. We'll word it so that it gets through.
yeah, this is the problem because Barbara always wants to go national. And if we don't, we're crazy. But the town wants us to stay local. So it's
Yes.
important to make the
Yes.
connection and not let them say, oh, you can't say that, it's political. If we're not political now, there is never going to be a time to be political.
Right.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
There's a way of doing it, and
figured that's
we'll get it done.
Do it.
So that's my question too. If you want me to write something, I would love to write about the impact of this bill on local and to the state. Is that going to be too political for the town council to publish that?
No, don't say anything about any names of politicians. Talk conceptually.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're good with statistics, so talk about the implications of the income level around here,
Yeah.
who that's going to affect. That's what you can talk about. That's just data.
And even Connecticut is known to be one of the most segregated and impacted states within the United States.
Well, if
Monica.
healthcare is a
Connecticut wasn't on the list for impact. I have the list on my phone.
if we think that healthcare is a human right, then when it gets cut to all the people in the state with disabilities and our town, Mansfield,
Yeah.
how does that impact their human rights to not be able to access healthcare?
I mean, we've got a nursing home right up the road from me. If Medicaid gets cut, nursing homes like that rely on Medicaid. What's going to happen to all those people?
That's what you have to say.
Right.
It's local, it's specific.
Monica, yeah.
I just want to chime in on this. So is this something that you were looking for the newsletter? I wanted to double check. That's what I had assumed.
That's what I was thinking.
That was what
you said, write something for the August newsletter. It's like, okay, I'd love to dig my claws into that.
I think that's probably not going to be published.
Right.
I think it just maybe I'm wrong. You can absolutely do it, and Margaret will vet it. I think if you were to let's say we have had this before, someone writing a letter to the editor who says this is who I am. I was a UConn professor. I was also I am a member of the Human Rights Commission. As long as you're not speaking for the Human Rights
Right.
Commission, but
That's
as
what I
you
did with
yourself.
at
Who-
birthing center. I did the same exact thing. I'm
like you yourself who wears all these hats, that's okay. But it's not like speaking from the HRC, from a town of Mansfield
Okay.
group.
So this
That's
is
kind of-
something that could not go in our newsletter?
I don't think so. I mean,
Could we-
I
the
don't
way
know.
that you're
way that-
presenting it.
Yeah, I would have to ask. I think that might be a
Okay.
question for
Let-
Margaret.
I'm
But-
not sure what the point of having a human rights commission is if all we can do is maybe have indigenous people stay or have, have a table at the, what is,
Different
we
towns
don't really have a role in protecting people's human rights at all, really.
different towns handle it differently. In our mission, we are only really here to be transparent and educate the public.
But isn't this educating the public? Here's this bill. Here are the
It's
bill intends to make. Here's the impact it could have on our town.
I think.
Yeah.
I
that's
tried it to be
educating about the
is
politics,
database.
not
No,
educating
it's
necessarily
not
about the-
educating about politics. When
It's
people's,
database.
my son voted for Trump, but when this bill passes, he loses his health insurance.
Right.
So
No, I get it.
it's
I have
not
a lot of
political.
family members too who have varying disabilities, and
I
it
mean,
is.
political to me means vote for this person and here, I support this person. This is saying, here's a bill that's going to affect the entire country and here's what it's going to mean locally.
I understand.
That's education.
Right.
Try it.
Write it up, Davida, and then
Okay.
we can
And
take a
then-
look at it. And if it may
Yeah.
need to be tweaked so that we don't put the town into extreme hot water, but you could still get your point across. So just
Yeah.
type it up,
Okay.
put it aside, go back, do it again, and
How
then
long does it have to be?
It's short.
No.
It can only be
Short.
maybe 250 words. It's very
Yeah.
short.
Give or take. Okay, you're going to do this for July 21st, so I don't have to do mine for July 21st.
Well, I was going to
Or
do it
you were
with
gonna do
with
August.
August.
Oh, okay, so I'll still do mine.
you're
It's
doing
one
July.
newsletter.
And you
Right.
can, if the town doesn't take it, then you can do what Monica suggested. You can also put anything you want on Facebook, which I have taken to doing.
Yeah.
It is one newsletter though, so it's not an August and July news. It's the August and July or July and August newsletter. So this would
Oh.
be September. If you're doing the next one, then you're doing September.
Okay, I'll see if I can get it in by, what'd you say it was, the 21st?
21st is for Jane's.
Well, no, I mean, I would cede that to Davida if she can do it, if you got the.
Okay,
I mean, I'll give
Let
it
me
a
know if
shot.
you
I
can
don't
do
know
it.
if I can grab all the data that I would need to
Right.
grab to do this
we
without.
can make it a race between the two of you. Both of you work on it. Who gets it
I
done
already
first?
did that.
gets
It's
the
called
first.
tenure. If you can't, I can put something together, but I would prefer that yours, because it's much more specific
Okay,
and people know what matters to
I
them.
I might suggest also having a backup in case it does not get
I'll be the backup.
allowed. And so like if you both want to do something,
Yep. Yeah.
I can't speak to it. I don't know what.
And I
Okay.
have a very
My
I have my last resort one I kept on the file. So if something really drastically happens, let me know, and then I'll flip that last resort one. Okay. All right. So, and with the website feature, Jane, you can help with the
Yeah, the witness.
witness stone. Okay, great.
I just,
right.
Janine, I'm sorry, I just want to, I don't want to go off on a tangent on this, but just to what may help, other people writing things. I don't know if, I'm sure you're aware of the two indivisible groups that meet in our area at Mansfield Congregational Church. One is called Worth Fighting For, one is called Quiet Corner. And I go to all of their meetings every week. I'm not sure if you're involved in them. I've never seen any of you at any of the meetings.
I've heard of Quiet
But
Corner.
I also get, I go to all their trainings. I go to their weekly discussion groups. I go to the in-person meetings, and every day I get emails about all of these, action alerts that we can do. For like we were talking about the bill, what does this bill really mean? How does it impact people around our country? How does it impact people in individual states? And then we can sign up for phone banks. We can sign up to, we can just click on something for letters to our representatives and senators. So if you're, and then also all of the information about all of the local rallies that are going on, the 4th of July one in Willimantic and one coming up on July 17th. So it's just a great way to be informed in general of what's happening. If you're so inclined, I would urge you to come to a meeting or just, and it's always hybrid, so you can do it on Zoom or come in person.
Can you send me the information?
Sure, of course, I will.
If you could
I-
just post
Send
that
it to all of us, Debbie. Can you send it to all of
Sure,
us?
okay.
Thank
Just
you.
do the HRC.
I'll individual your emails, I will. I'll do that either tonight or I'll probably do it right in the morning when I
Okay.
get to church. I'll make a note of that.
Good. All right, next up, monthly difficult dialogue meetings. Jane, you wanted to put this on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to tell you, I thought of this and then I realized that my schedule is going to make it very hard for me to be the only one to do it, but that doesn't mean somebody else can't or I
Mhm.
can't co-do it. Everything I've been reading about our current state of national affairs is that the best defense is coherent communities. People have to know how to talk to each other and they have to
Great.
be connected. Well, we did that one nonviolent communication workshop a year ago or so.
Mhm.
The methods they use are completely universal. They've got their thing patented, but I have been teaching, I taught that stuff for 40 years. So what I would like to do is to set up, and this one I want to do in the library, not in the senior center. I'd like to set up how to have differences of opinion without fighting, techniques, methods, simple, very simple. Come learn how to disagree without fighting. You can learn this in an hour. Come practice, bring a friend. And we're going to call it difficult dialogues because we need to help people learn how to talk to people they normally don't talk to. So that's my idea.
Okay.
It's going to need a lot more work and it's going to need to be publicized. And then I just committed yesterday to having knee surgery on November 3rd. So I will be out of action for a couple of months, but I really would like to continue walking as long as I can. And it's become necessary. So I know I'm not going to do anything in November. I probably can't do anything in December. I maybe could do something in October, but I can set up a model. And then anybody who knows anything about counseling can run this. It's very simple. So that's what I want to do. But the first thing I have to do is conceptualize it a little bit better. But the idea is coherent communities require the ability to have differences of opinion without fighting. That's what we need to do. So that's what I'm suggesting. And I would like to know what anybody else thinks about that.
I love the idea and I'd be happy
Yeah.
to work with you on it, Jane.
Yeah, definitely.
and
We can all
classes
work
on that
together
as
on that.
Sure.
Okay, Debbie, do you feel comfortable with what I just described? Because this is basically Rogerian counseling.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to write up. And Davida, how about you?
I've never done anything like this.
Okay, all right.
I'd love to see what it looks like. It sounds
So
great.
I have a couple of books because I bought their books. It's very good. It's a
Mhm.
very good system.
And I
Okay.
don't have a problem with helping out with it.
And I know because of the work you've done that you know how to do this too. So I don't have to be the only one, but I'll write the lesson.
Mhm.
Great. Perfect.
That sounds good.
I will bring that.
That
I
would be
will-
great if we could get that done and then other towns that
That's it.
desperately need it.
I
that would
want
be-
to make it as widely available as possible. So if people come and they say, could you do this at our little community center? We can say, sure.
Yep,
That's what I want to do.
Good idea.
I've
that's
been wanting to do
great.
this for over a year, but the recent events have provoked me into action. I'm going to write the lesson plan. I will send it to you, Janine. You can send it around for FYI to everybody just so they can
Okay,
see about it. Okay.
yeah.
I'd
just
love to
keep us
see that.
posted. Cool. All right, next up, old business, community conversations. we have been approved in concept to initiate these conversations, which we've kind of like, we're talking, but it's there. Ryan said, we could do that. I'm working with Jane. She's tweaking the little flyers, posters that we can put up. Jane, I have your day and time. I have to get Ray's. I'll do the library. So that will, I think once we can have that flyer, the word will get out a little bit more, and we'll be able to do that and post that on the town website as well.
Okay, I mean,
The slides have to be, she also has to look at the slides, but she just wanted to work on the flyers, and she will do media, she will do, all that stuff. She just had to tweak. Everything has to be, and Grace, I remember you had asked me some time ago, can't we just, it has to be a certain font, it has to be certain colors, it has to be this, it has to be, that's what she was working on. And she was emailing me back and forth today, this afternoon, could you do this? What about this? We need to add that in there. So she's finalizing that. So that's good. Jane, you were going to say something.
it probably was of no value.
No.
No, I'm really glad that you're working on that flyer because I thought it was really good and I want to use it.
The only thing is, she's like, maybe we can get a different photo, because the photo that I had used, it's so difficult to find photos online to describe what I would like to be shown. I wanted it to be diverse. I wanted it to have, different ages. And it was just like a couple of guys standing there. There was an older gentleman, a black dude, just like,
I have
just keep looking up for, like, she's like, maybe like a table having a conversation.
I have those because I did this on my website and I have pictures on my website, so I will pull them down and mail them to you. They're all in the
Please,
domain.
please, and I'll just say, here, choose one.
Sitting around a table talk. The first one I offered was how to get through Thanksgiving without killing anybody. And I have several of those with people of all ages and various colors, and they're all sitting around talking to each other. So I will pull that down. I will send you my pictures, or you can do it. I don't have to do it. Go on my website, you can see them all. And then if you can't take them off, I will.
Okay, all right.
You can
I'll
see
take a
them.
look at that.
It's all public domain. You can just take them off.
And again, just as a reminder, if there's ever a cancellation or whatever, let me know, because if I need to step in, I can step in, or we contact the place and say that, we can't do it. Keeping a log of any questions, comments, complaints, so we can have that little Excel thing that that I can run and then present it at the end of the year. I really would like to have available for individuals resources, and I know, Davida, you were working on that.
Yeah.
Coming up with, I don't know if people are up for this. Not everyone likes it. You have an open Google Docs. You can you share it with a whole bunch of people. And then if you have some information, you can put it in there. It's like, it'll just constantly add. Can we do something like that so that we can just keep adding resources, because we have this person with this resource, and then when it's all said and done, we can, yes,
I would
Monica.
love that. I have not had a lot of success doing that, but I don't claim to be hugely tech savvy. So if someone can figure out how to set it up so we can all have access to it. The problem I always have is someone sets one up, I try to go in there and do something with it, but I can't get in there.
Okay.
At the same
Monica.
So, in the past, now this is COVID time, this was not allowed. I believe it is now allowed as long as we are not communicating over it. If it is just solely, let's dump in ideas or whatever, that should
It's just
be
resources, like,
It's just
Food
building
resource.
that page with the resource links on it.
Yeah,
So yes, the reason why this was a potential issue was because you don't want to have a meeting by mistake, right? Because you're communicating over. this.
right. No, it's not
So
communication at
as
all.
long as it's
just
not that,
right.
I don't see that as being an issue. I'll just run it by my boss just in case, but I think that would be just fine as long as you're not, there's no talking. I'm just gotta make that clear.
Right, like
Yeah, someone runs across a resource. Oh, this would make a good link. They can get in there and just
Okay.
add it in.
Exactly.
what I used to do when I was a para, and some of the kids that I worked with, they were working on their written project, and I can go into my laptop and go into their document and make the corrections or add things on there, whatever. I don't discuss anything with them, but it was, I might highlight something, and then when I see them, you need to look at my yellow highlighted areas. It's just putting the information in. To me, it's easier instead of
Oh, yeah.
piece cutting, cut, paste, whatever.
That's how you get into trouble.
Right. And if there's someone that's not comfortable doing that, you can always send me, and then I can always put the information into the Word. Or Google Docs. That doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
just, it gets cumbersome when you have this person has this person
Oh,
has
yeah.
this. And I'm gonna admit, I'm lazy. It's like copy and paste out of this email, bring it over to this document,
Right,
copy and paste. So
It can get very complicated. I mean, I've done collaborations with colleagues all across the country, and we always did it with track changes. So everybody's changes would show up in a different color. That's helpful, but it's still very messy.
That's what Rahul does, and they date it and everything. He's like, I
Yeah.
could teach you how to do it. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
don't
okay.
want it.
We can move on.
Okay. All right. So next up was the town newsletter. So just so I can write it down for the July 21st deadline, it's Davita,
Possibly.
possibly.
I'll do what I can to hit that target.
If not, Jane might step in, or Janine.
Somebody will do it.
We'll do it. All right.
It's the race to the finish line.
Got it. All right, next is America 250. This thing is like hanging over my head.
I went on their website.
I was going to ask, did anyone have a chance to look at all the different, there's so many different things. And I did this survey and I'm getting emails. I'm like, what's your feedback, Jade?
Went on their website. It looks to me like a glorification and a whitewash of the American past. I do not want to participate in it. I refuse to have anything to do with it. I am not going to participate in this project when we are in this kind of condition, when everybody can't even tell what's accurate anymore. So I would rather, I am not participating in this, and I am not going to contribute to the great American fantasy. The end. That's my vote.
That's noted. Noted. Anyone else's feedback?
I have very mixed feelings about this thing, because I totally agree with Jane. What exactly are we celebrating here? And is this the kumbaya while all this carnage is going on around us? On the other hand, I really don't like the idea of celebrating who we are as a country, or who we should be, to those MAGA people. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. Anyone else? There is no right or wrong answer. There is, we agreed to disagree. This is what we do. Anyone else want to add in there?
I look at it. I don't want to put you on the spot. I just want to know if you have an opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think at last meeting we were discussing sort of coming at it from the perspective of looking at human rights successes and failures together. and just sort of reaching a conclusion of saying like, there's more work to be done. Like, there's not even a comparison that really needs to happen in order for us to believe that work needs to be done. But I think probably there's probably going to be more shortcomings than successes, but I think that'll be a glaring point that
Yeah.
even if
Okay.
it makes somebody uncomfortable, if it's related to, because we are a town commission, I think it's necessary.
I mean,
I
even
agree.
during the best of times, we were still a long way from the dream of human rights. And it's now 2 steps forward, 1.5 steps back. I would be okay if that's the perspective or the lens that this commission used, is to say, here's where we've come in 250 years. Here's what's happened. Here's the ebb and flow of human rights. And here's the work
Here are
that
the
needs
steps
to be
back.
done.
Okay.
Make a statement.
Deb,
It'd be something
you
we
said, Deb, you wanted to add something? All right, I have a suggestion. Next July newsletter, we put our stance.
Mhm.
Oh,
I think we
yeah,
should make a
yeah.
statement.
I think that's a great idea.
Statement, absolutely.
So, I mean, we have time, we could do our own little research, and it doesn't have to be all negative, because we have come a little bit of a ways on certain things. The infamous 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Sometimes we take a few more steps forward, but then I try not to do anything or say anything political, but I will say this. I have told my kids that if I were to ever meet, and I'll be respectful, President Trump, because I rarely ever put that title before his name. If I were to ever meet that individual, I would say, thank you. Thank you for teaching us for what work we still yet have to do. Thank you. So I'm hearing a lot of mixed feelings about this, and I agree. I've looked at the website and I'm like, oh, we could do this, but then you look at it and you're like, and this is what it's going to do, and we can do this, and I'm like, but this is just no. So I'm kind of glad that we're on the same page with the mixed feelings, because that does tell me we're very uncomfortable with this.
Mhm.
And as I said, I suggest for next July, have our stance,
Mhm.
not that we don't. It is our country's birthday. We do have to celebrate, how we came about it. We trampled on other people's human rights in order to get to that point, you know. So, we need to reflect upon that, and this is how maybe we could try to better ourselves. So, yes, Barb.
Do we really need to wait until next year to say what our stance is? Because things are falling apart
Right.
pretty badly right now. I know we're not political, but we are about human rights, and they're being trampled horribly all
Yeah.
over the country,
Taken away from us.
including here in Connecticut.
And a lot of times when people tell us that's too political, you shouldn't say that, what they're saying is you can't criticize us. And that's a problem. If this is a democracy, we're supposed to have free speech rights. And here we are self-censoring.
It's a great
What a-
community conversation, right?
Right. Here's another thought. December 10th is Human Rights Day.
Mm-hmm.
Push it for Human Rights Day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it is waiting a little bit, but there's some other things that we need to encourage people about, learning about their human rights, giving them not a false sense of hope, but just letting people know that there are people who are trying to fight for them, whether it be Quiet Corner, ACLU, or whatever, NAACP, you name it. There are a lot of organizations that have an extremely, let's face it, an extremely more powerful voice than Mansfield Human Rights.
Mhm.
When when I went to the protest on whenever it was, No King's Day, there was a big
Okay.
sign in Willimantic that said, "Speak up now or bow down later."
Right.
So I don't think we should wait.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I don't know. Evidently, we can't really do anything as a Human Rights Commission,
Right.
so we're completely ineffectual as far as that goes. We can
August,
write
September, October
articles, but
newsletter? September, October newsletter?
I'm not sure what the answer is. It seems like our hands are tied. We're not really allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
So
No, what
I'm
I'm
not
saying
sure.
is writing that, the upcoming 250, commemoration instead of participating in that, we're going to continue to push about education for human rights. So I
I think it's worthwhile for us to put together something that talks about here's how far we've come. We've lost some ground. We could lose more ground. Here's the work that still needs to happen. Seems to me that should still be within the realm of education. That's history.
Right.
Here's where we've come. Here's what we've lost. Those are facts.
right, it's factual. So in terms of overall, we are not going to participate. Do we need to take a vote on that?
I think you do need to take a vote on
Okay,
that.
with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as it stands, the Mansfield Human Rights Commission,
Janine.
all in favor of not participating
Wait, hang on.
in the America
Monica
250?
has her hand up
Yeah,
first.
Yes, Monica.
Okay, we'll need someone to make the motion.
Okay,
But the
that's
chair
right.
cannot make the motion. Someone has to make it and then second and then.
So I do a move.
Does anyone move to?
Okay,
Yeah, is there a motion?
I move that the Human Rights Commission not participate in the America 250 project.
okay.
I'll second it.
Mhm.
All in favor? Abstain? Okay. So
Got one abstention.
very good. All right, so then we go to a motion. Or we could just,
We're all good, but I also did not get your vote. I'm sorry.
oh, I agree. I don't think we should do it.
And then we had one abstention.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so Human Rights Commission will not participate in the America 250. But we will write something up. We just need to kind of decide when we're going to write that up. So let's think about that, think of some things to put in there, and we can talk about that at the next meeting. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
All
just
right.
want to speak my piece real quick for my
Yes.
abstention. I do
Please.
think it's a bit disingenuous, and I agree with the statement that we're sort of letting people who peddle false history sort of win if we who know what the true history is, don't call attention to it. So that's the only reason I would have voted against us not participating at all, because I think just making a poster that illustrates our difficulties and successes, which obviously the difficulties will outweigh the successes, would probably come across well, but yeah.
Yeah,
Duly
that's
noted.
why I think it's, if we don't want to participate, we shouldn't not participate without having some way to state why.
That's why I want, something in the newsletter explaining.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to explain ourselves, but because of what we do and what we stand for, and that we are supposed to be educating people, we can use this as an opportunity to say, listen,
Yeah.
yes, our country is 250 years old. That's an, awesome point. However, that infamous but, and we
Yeah.
can use it as an education point.
Mm-hmm.
I think the model for this is Heather Cox Richardson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what she does every time she writes. It's awful, but we've been here before, and here's what happened then, and here's what's going on now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of layout that I think we need to do. And I don't think we should just do it once. I think we should do it in multiple venues.
Mhm.
And you don't have to say, you can say you belong to the Human Rights Commission, but you're writing as an individual, and put something in the Willimantic paper, put something on Facebook, Connecticut Connections, any of those things. Because the more you say, the more somebody is likely to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't control you if you do something on your own. But you're just helping.
I mean, they may shoot it down, but self-censoring is a terrible idea.
I agree.
Okay, next up, Indigenous Peoples Day event. Deb has been looking in through the Historical Society, yes? Okay,
Yes, yeah,
Um,
I already mentioned that, and I'll continue to do that and give updates.
okay, great. And Grace, you said something about making contact with, I want to say Mohegan, with your ancestry. Is that accurate?
Grace isn't here anymore.
Whoops. I thought so.
She's disappeared.
All right. I'm still trying to make contact, believe it or not, with someone from the Pequot Museum. I have a couple of different ways of trying to do that, but I am still trying to work on that. Okay, member reports.
I have, Jane, go.
Yep.
You want me to go first? I got an email
Go
today
for it.
from the Mansfield Community Center that said they're discontinuing the Silver Sneakers program there.
Yeah.
And they said because 40% of the people that use the gym there at the community center are on the Silver Sneakers program. That's why they're discontinuing it, because they're not feeling like they don't get enough reimbursement from the insurance
Right.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
every
pay for
dollar,
that.
it's only 42 cents or something like that I had.
Okay, but I mean, this is a hugely important program to people in town that depend on it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a terrible thing
Yeah.
that they're doing this. And I don't know if there's anything we can do as a Human Rights Commission to say that we disagree with this. Can we
We're
do that, or is that
displeased.
political?
Displeased about the
Well,
decision.
it's not just about a place to work out. It's a community
Yeah.
center, and it's a place where people of all ages can interact, rather than taking those seniors in the senior sneakers and shuffling them off to the side. It's a place where there's a lot of age diversity, and that's vital for people's mental health capacity.
Yeah.
I got that same email. I was appalled. I mean, they were flat out,
Thank you,
we're just
too.
not making enough profit off this, so bye-bye.
Oh, they're giving us a 15% discount.
Yeah, oh, yay.
Which isn't very much.
I think
But
that's
for
what you
people
get
who
if you're a
can't
town
afford it.
resident.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're president, yeah. Well,
So,
people who can't afford that, though, it's going to be a big loss for sure.
yeah. So I really wish that we could, as a commission, say to the town, this is not a good idea. I mean, health, is that a human right?
Yes.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Keep discussing.
I mean, they can hardly call it a community center if it's only the community center for those who can afford to pay that.
That's their business model. That's always been their business model. And from the time they opened up, they've been complaining about the fact that they're not making enough money to meet their expenses. So I don't know how they meet their other expenses, but obviously the Silver Sneakers is a huge part of it. But their business model is not a community center. Their business model is anybody who has enough money to pay can come here.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
But this is not LA Fitness. If you're going to call yourself a community center, then it has
Yeah.
to be community based.
So what's the approach? And who do you approach? I mean, I don't think this was I think it's probably an issue for the town council because the community center couldn't have made that decision on their own. They must have had to go to somebody and got permission to change their membership criteria.
They did, because there was a thing on the town Facebook page, and Ben Shaken went in and said he didn't feel like it was fair for the Silver Sneakers to get a break when other people didn't get it. Something like that. I don't have it in front of me, so.
It's on the,
Um,
yeah, I looked at it and I thought, oh, well, I guess I'm not on Silver Sneakers, but I'm thinking I probably am on Silver Sneakers.
If you're on Medicare, you're on Silver Sneakers.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So how much is this gonna cost if we don't know yet, right?
It's like $469 a year, but then you get a 15% discount.
Whoopee. Okay. All right, I'll have to go on the town newsletter. I'm not in.
People, I mean, that's affordable for people who can afford it, but for people who are not expecting that, it may have obviously impact on them.
The problem is people who always insist, oh, come on, that's affordable, are people who are not worried about where their next meal is coming from. And
That's
they're
what I
not
mean,
worried
yeah.
about a roof over their head. So to
Right.
them, that's affordable.
Right, exactly, that's what I meant. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's going to impact a large part of our community.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can the HRC write a letter to town council?
I'm hoping we can do something.
Why can't we?
I agree.
I don't know,
Monica?
is it political to tell the town council
It's
we
just
think
the
this is a
commission
bad
writing
idea?
a letter to town council saying, hey, listen.
I bet a
we're
lot of
concerned here."
individuals will be writing in.
Right,
Or
individuals can
us
absolutely do it. That would be included in the town council packet, which is, oh,
Right.
goodness, the next one is next Monday or the Monday after. Might be the Monday after.
It's
Uh,
just, an individual is different from a human rights commission. That
Mhm.
carries a lot more weight
Right.
than an individual person.
We're educating the town council on the impact of a lousy decision.
Yeah,
Mhm.
What I would do if I were you is if someone wants to draft a letter, then we can send it to the town clerk and send it to Kim in our town manager's office. And I'm not sure if they would include it or not. I can't speak to that, but that's what I think is the next step.
So draft letter and then send it to whom again?
I'd send it to Sarah Ann Chain in the town clerk's office. And then send it to
Can you repeat that?
Sarah Ann in the town clerk's office. You can do townclerk@mansfieldct.org. And Kim, I'll send you the email. I'll makes it a lot easier for me to send it to you. I'm sorry, I'll do that.
All right, so who's gonna write? It could be a combination of you guys.
so
Or
sorry, I'm
two.
swamped right now. I'm
Hold on.
playing
2 or
way too
3
many
you
I
can
do-
allow.
I do just want to. I don't remember if we had voted on this or ever actually discussed it.
Oh, yep,
Even
you're right.
recall
Nope.
that if something was going to come out of the Human Rights Commission, it was going to be voted on.
Okay,
And this is also technically not on our agenda, so we either have to add it to the agenda or we would have to, if we're going to vote on it, this is something that's technically a public comment or a member report.
okay.
Yeah, so
So do we want to? Is this something you guys, without getting into like a deep, is this something that you would like to put on the agenda to
would
vote
you-
for?
would you want to do this? Maybe we can call a special meeting and we can do that.
Yeah, because I think if we wait another month
Right,
to get it on the
totally.
agenda, the moment has passed.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
if you want to call a special meeting, we can do that.
Okay.
I am not here until the 16th. So, which means
Could we meet in person?
No, it has to be, or
Has to be
we
recorded.
can meet in person, but we do need, it still needs to be
Recorded,
noticed.
it still
What?
needs to be.
It still needs to be noticed. It still needs to go through the standard meeting
Oh.
procedures, and it still needs to be a special meeting.
Okay.
So a
Yep.
couple of us could not get together, just 2 or 3 people, and draft something while we're waiting for all of that?
You could do
That-
that because
yeah,
that's not a quorum.
That is not, if you have 4 people, it's a quorum, and no, that cannot happen.
Okay, so it's got to be
Um,
less than 4 people getting together to draft something.
Mhm.
Okay,
But it would still need to be voted on if it was coming from the HRC.
okay,
Okay, so if you wanted to do that, and then let's say had a meeting on the 20th or something, not 20th, I have no clue. I don't have a calendar in front of me. What day, that would be fine. It just would need to be voted on.
okay. So I'd be willing to work with 1 or 2 people who are interested in drafting something. Barbara, when are you leaving?
That's not the issue. It's the fact that I'm playing too many concerts this month. So I have rehearsals every day. There's concerts July 10th, 17th, and 24th. I'm playing on all 3 of them, and they're all different programs.
Yeah,
We're
I
at
have
Vondermain
gigs
this summer.
July 4th, July 5th, and July 12th.
This is what
If-
Grace
Let's-
and Davita and I did.
Oh, that's right, that's true.
I had a
That's
whole
what we
bunch of
did.
different things and we met and we kind of combined. So sometimes it's piecemeal. You know, this person does a little bit and then these 2 people might meet and the 3 of you might be able to meet. And then you have one person that kind of like pushes it all together. And then as Monica had said, then you can, present it to the group and then vote on it and whatnot. But if you want to get this done, you guys need to meet fairly quickly.
Yeah, I can't do anything until after July 24th.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm good. I can
But what you
whatever.
can do, Barb, maybe what you can do is type up some of your concerns, your thoughts, and maybe give them to Davita. And then Davita
Yeah.
can, kind of work then with another, I don't know, Deb, if you wanted to jump on the wagon, or Jane, if you wanted to
I
jump
mean,
on the
I
wagon or
think-
whatever.
I think that's a good idea, Davida. I'll give, because my main concern is this town is heavily populated by retired professors.
Let
That's why the membership is 40% silver sneakers. That is a discrimination against an enormous bunch of people.
Yes, Monica?
I think we're gonna want to add this to the agenda. There's been a lot of discussion on it, and I don't-
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so can I have someone move to amend the agenda and add,
I'll make the motion that we put this on the agenda right now. Is that what we're talking
Okay.
about?
yep,
Okay.
can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All right,
Um,
and then motion, we're
Okay.
good, Monica? All right. Right, so
So, no, so one big point is the number of retired faculty members who live here want to stay here and already are having housing problems, and now they're having healthcare problems or health maintenance problems. And they are not on an extensive budget because nobody retires from the university rich.
you also have extended families that these families rely upon that type of communication, that type of connectivity. You have, it's not your traditional family that much anymore. I mean, you have families that are from other countries that, grandma and grandpa are still hanging with them in the house, and then they utilize that. So, if they are receiving Medicaid or Medicaid, it is a place, it is a generating type of place. You know, I no longer have a membership because I do my other stuff there, but I know it affects a lot of people because I see people in there all the time, all ages. So I'm recommending that if like Jane and Deb and Barb, if you want to, I'm just schlepping it off onto you, Davita, I'm sorry. Send Davita your ideas. And, you know, come up with something. If you can meet, and that could be, you know, all of your group, if you want to meet and talk about it a little bit more, that's fine. But make sure that it's no more than 3 people.
So send me the ideas that you have and the concerns that you have, and I'll try to draft something that pulls it all together. And then I'll share that with you, Barbara and Jane and Deb, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. And then, yeah, just keep me, you don't have to keep sending me everything, but if you just, you know, say, this is where we're at, I can take a look at it.
Davita, do we have your email somewhere? I'm sure it's on the,
It's
I
on
guess, the
the-
stuff that Monica sends out, but
Yeah, it is.
It's,
You can put it in chat if you want,
yeah.
put it, what? Oh,
in the chat.
I'll find it. Oh, yeah.
Janine, I need to bow out in a minute.
Okay.
Some phone calls.
You want to do any member report or anything like that?
No, I'm all
No.
set.
If,
I have a question.
Yep.
Monica, if a person, a citizen, wants to go to town council and just make a statement during the opportunity for community contact, comments, how soon do you have to do that? And I know you have to submit your concerns in writing, but so when's,
if you want to go in person, I don't think you have to submit anything in writing or do anything but show up.
you have to just show up and sign in?
I believe so, yes.
I'm gonna do
I'll
that.
double check. If I'm wrong, I'll get back to you, but I'm pretty sure that's.
I'm trying to remember that all the times I've ever been there,
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
Rock and Profit, right? I
they'll
forgot.
have always given them a piece of paper.
Better than Blue Steva.
Okay, did everyone get her email?
Yep.
Okay. All right, anyone else want to add anything that they have?
Yeah,
Any
I'm gonna
member
be real,
reports?
I'm gonna be real short, but I got another thing. Did go to the senior center. I met a woman who characterizes herself as neuroatypical or something. And she says this town, she said there are lots of people in this town who are in their 40s and 50s who've never been diagnosed and have all kinds of little cranky glitches in their personality that they don't understand. And I think if we did a little information session on what it meant to be neurodiverse as an adult and then some coping mechanisms, a lot of people would really like that. So I was on my way out of the senior center. I talked to Jessica and she said, yeah, you can do that. So, and then she gave me some more ideas about what had to be done to make it done well. And so I'm working with this woman whose name is Nancy, and we're going to put together a little program on neurodiversity for people in midlife and older, understanding it, coping with it, and knowing how to make your life a little more easy.
Is that going to be like a human right thing, or is that going to be like something off to the side?
I'd like to make it a human rights thing. And because for Disability Awareness Month, they're having 2 quiet days at the senior center with no noise so that people can be more comfortable, which I thought was really good. So I'm going to be working on that. And this at this point is just a conversation. But Nancy really was, she said, I can't do it because I don't have all the big qualifications. I said, hell, I got qualifications. Let's do it. So we're going to do it. But we have to polish it up because I really need
Okay.
a whole lot more information, but that's what I've done lately today.
Yeah, I printed a whole bunch of different things of different observances, and I think it's in the other room. Oh well. Anything else that you want to add, Jane?
Nope, that's it.
Anyone else? All right, me, aside from the Pride event, who would have known that adults like to make pinwheels?
Having a really good time.
I was cracking up, and I had this one woman, she kept coming back and wanting to make more and more. I'm like, gosh, that's fine. And someone said, how does this tie into human rights? I said, because you can be who you want and you can express yourself how you want, and it's arts and it's culture and
Fun.
it's just being who you want to be there, and expressing yourself. That's a basic human right. And sometimes people don't know how to express themselves. They picked up a pinwheel and they were happy. In the little glass jars, I had a couple of them, and it was fun to just watch their response. And this little kid, he was hysterical. He was just coloring away. And I was so nervous about walking around with a glass. His mother did come up, but he was so happy of what he had done. It was amazing. The other thing that I saw Jane there, and I also saw Jessica St. Louis. We went to the Muslim World event on June 14th. They are going to continue to have this. I highly recommend, because I learned something new again, and I make more connections. And it was just, and the food. Just go buy all the different
I
types.
ate more baklavas than I had any right to. But I met this woman from Egypt who grew up in stores. Her parents are Egyptian. And
Okay.
I told her that I would hook her up with Margaret so that we could help them with their publicity for their next event, which is going to be in January.
That's what I told him. I keep telling the
I
gentleman,
I
you
thought
let us know and we'll get that information out there for you.
we're going to chase them down because they
I
deserve
did.
it. They deserve it.
By that. Yeah, I told him, I said,
I really want to do that, and that
you
will
need to get your information out that, and if they let us know in advance, I told them, if you let us know in advance, not like a week or two, we could put this. Even it needs to go through like the electronic backpacks as well. So if you ever have a chance to go. It really, it is kind of small, but I have a feeling as time goes on and more people become more aware of it, and you learn something new every time. Let's see, there was something. There were a lot of other people from other towns in Pride event, and I think Jane was there, met a woman who left Florida to come up to this area because of the stuff that's going on in Florida.
Wow.
So people are trying to leave, and I'm thinking to myself, and you came to Connecticut, but Connecticut is one of the better states, so to speak, in terms of some people standing up for their rights a little bit more. Okay. Yesterday, I sent you an email to everyone, and it had to do with an incident. I sit on this, I have to talk to someone about me being able to really do this. There was a woman in Simsbury. Did everyone get that email by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That, I'm not going to say it floored me, and it didn't floor me. She was trying to do something. It was all about Juneteenth, and she started getting harassed after that. There's not much that we can do. It's out of I think it was Simsbury. I think that's where she was from. But the fact that this happened,
Oh, I think it's in Berlin.
it got me. It got me.
New Britain.
Was it New Britain? Or
Yeah.
her program that she's with is like Simsbury, something like that. And that they had to go make a report because, of just being harassed online and all of that. As HRC, I'm not sure that we can do something. I mean, I could tell her that, we support you. I did recommend, if you haven't done other resources, like even like NAACP and stuff like that, that she should probably go that route. But this is where we as HRC, we need to make sure that we are available to other communities. And this kind of ties in with that student, Hassana, that would like to join HRC. Because of the microaggressions or just blatant aggressions that are outside the community, we have those other communities that come into Mansfield. We have those ag kids that they deal with. We have people who aren't the kids don't have the school curriculum that the elementary schools and the middle school do. This is how it affects. This is how it affects like the whole state, the whole community, the whole nation globally. You have these little pockets that are still doing that stupid, irresponsible nonsense. And a lot of it has to do with people are feeling their own fear, their own insecurity. And we all know that when you touch on someone's, their own old beliefs, they're feeling threatened. I'm not saying that's, we need to go, oh, but that's okay. We can't, but it's important for us to say, we understand why you're feeling this way, but we can help you with that. And I think that's also where Jane's community, those difficult conversations that it's crucial now. It really, really, really is crucial. There's just, as everyone keeps saying, there's just so much stuff that's going on. It's scary. It's disheartening. We just got to keep moving on. But that blew my mind to see that with the SJLN group, that someone got for Juneteenth, for just celebrating it, to putting it out there, to put information out there. And now they're saying, how dare you do stuff like that? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one.
You cannot talk these people out of this behavior, and they're all
Yeah.
over the place.
Yep.
There are Trump signs everywhere. We have had Klan rallies in Scotland, Connecticut. You can't forget that. These
Yeah.
people live here too. Talking them out of it doesn't work, but
No.
supporting people who are willing to stand up is very helpful. And she
Right.
has posted a letter thanking everybody who has reached out to her because it is so horrible. And then you
Yep.
got to rely on the cops. It's got to be a police because people are not allowed to behave that way. And yet, maybe someday they will be allowed to behave.
Yeah.
But right now, you're not allowed to do that, and it has to be stopped. You can't talk.
And that is a human right, because she is not feeling safe.
Right.
Life, liberty, and the security of a person, and
Mhm.
it's being trampled on. All
Connecticut's
right, my
one of the
friends.
safest states in the country, in case you missed that.
Continue to think about Celebrate Mansfield. There is no public here that came on the meeting, so there's no public comment. That kind of concludes our June meeting. When everything is all said and done, we can hold the special meeting. You just need to let me and kind of Jane know. Davida, you start working on that stuff. Send your ideas to Davida. Everyone has their assignments. Yes, Monica.
You need to let me know too.
Okay.
I need to be
Yeah.
able to notice.
No,
Special
we're
meeting,
not.
if we're
You're-
in person, it's 24 hours before the meeting begins that it needs to be noticed. If we are doing any part virtually, period, it needs to be 48 hours. So please make sure I'm in the loop.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are working on that. You need to keep, because I'm not seeing what you're doing behind the scenes.
So I'm sorry, what are we're just sending a letter to the town council, right?
For which thing?
For the sneak,
I'm talking about the silver sneakers thing. I thought
Silver
that's what we were talking
sneakers?
about.
send your ideas to Davida.
Right. But the idea is to send a letter to the town
We
council.
will send a letter to the
Yeah.
town
Yeah.
council as HRC, because that's a thing.
Okay.
It is a thing.
I'm gonna go personally as a person.
More power to you.
Yeah.
I just have
More
to
power
look up
to
the
you.
dates of the meetings because they know who I am.
Okay, so do anyone need to add anything else? Nope. we're good. And as soon as I get word from Margaret with the posters and everything, I will let everyone know. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
I'll second.
Full of beans. All right, everyone, happy July 4th. Reflect upon the good and the not so good about that.
And if
And
you're all looking to have some fun, my band is going to be at Hops 44 on July 12th.
And that's
I
my
have-
birthday.
that is your
happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
I finally got your birthday. Ravine, as of this, in the middle of the night, is at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
God bless him.
And our daughter Asha informed us that she is about 90% sure that she wants to join the Marines.
Okay. well,
Whoa.
Yes.
How
I
you
don't know.
feel
We'll see what
about that?
happens. Lot of processing. Right now, my sister from Pennsylvania is up. She wanted to escape Pennsylvania. I'm like, okay, it's hot and humid here, but yeah, no, Ravine is all set, and sometime in September he will, if he doesn't mess up, he will be done in September, and then the end of September, then he'll go to Texas for 6 months. So, but I'm
My
an em-
nephew's been
I'm
in
an
the
empty
Marines.
nester.
My nephew's been in the Marines for like the last 20 years.
I don't know what's going to happen with Ravine. I really don't know. But his last message was, we were told to tell everyone that we're here at Fort Sill, and we'll let you know when we will be able to speak with you next. He's
Wow.
like, some random officer told us to tell you this. I'm like, right. And they're allowed to use the phone once. They're allowed to use the phone. They get their phones back for 1 hour on Sunday if they don't screw up. I'm
Good
like,
Lord.
good luck with.
All right. I'm going to say goodnight.
All right, guys.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Bye.
right. Bye.